students. I welcome you all to the last session of human reproduction. In today's topic, we are going to deal with pregnancy. Then we'll be studying about placenta, then embryonic development, parturition, and lactation. So first, let us know what is pregnancy. Okay, so pregnancy is the time of development right from fertilization up till birth. So pregnancy is the period of development after fertilization up till birth. So it is also called as the gestation period. So in humans, pregnancy or gestation period is for 9 months, that is more or less 270 days. Okay, so finally pregnancy is a period of development right from fertilization up till birth. So this reproductive event is also called as gestation. So this is the diagram of the fetus inside the womb of the mother. So here we can see that the blastocyst or the developing embryo, it is attached to the endometrium of the uterine wall, and finally the endometrium, it is now called as decidua. So finally decidua, it is of three types: decidua basalis, decidua capsularis, and decidua parietalis. So in the diagram you can see that decidua basalis is the part of endometrium where the blastocyst is attached. So the point of attachment of the blastocyst or the developing embryo to the endometrium, so that point or that region is called as a decidua basalis. Next is decidua capsularis. So the part of endometrium that completely covers the developing embryo is called as decidua capsularis. And last is decidua parietalis, the part of endometrium that is not in contact with the developing embryo or the blastocyst is called as decidua parietalis. So finally the fetus, it is implanted in the endometrium of the uterine wall, and finally the endometrium is now called as the decidua. So this is about the fetus inside the womb or the uterus of the mother. So now let us know what is the function of placenta. So before knowing about the function of placenta, we should know what is placenta. Okay, so in human beings, development is internal, means the embryo develops in the womb of the mother, or the embryo develops in the uterus of the mother, and hence we can say that in human beings development is internal. So this developing embryo, it makes contact with the uterus of the mother. So the mother and the fetus, they are in connection with each other, and this is with the help of placenta. So let us know what is placenta. So placenta is a special kind of tissue connection in between the mother and the fetus. So this placenta, it helps in physiological exchange of materials from the mother to the developing fetus. So placenta, it is a connection in between the mother and the fetus. So the placenta, it is connected to the developing embryo or to the fetus with the help of umbilical cord. So this umbilical cord, it helps to transport the materials, and as a result placenta plays an important role in transporting the materials from the maternal blood, that is from the mother, to the developing fetus. So let us know what are the important characters of placenta. So placenta is a special kind of tissue connection in between the mother and the fetus. So how is this placenta formed? So placenta is formed by the fusion of the uterine wall, that is the uterus from the mother's side, and the fetal membranes from the fetus. Okay, so what is this fetal membrane? So during the process of development of the fetus, it develops some additional membranes in order to protect itself, and these membranes are called as fetal membranes. So these fetal membranes, they are of four types, namely amnion, chorion, allantois and yolk sac. So these are the four important membranes developed by the fetus itself in order to give protection. So finally, there is contribution both from the mother's side as well as the fetal side. So here, as a result, there is formation of placenta. So let us know about the structure of placenta. So placenta, it is a flat cake or it is disc shaped in its structure. It is about 2.5 centimeters in thickness and 500 grams in its weight. So as I have told you, placenta is formed by the fusion of the uterus along with the fetal membrane. So as a result, there is formation of placenta. So let us know what is the function of placenta. So first important function is placenta acts as a barrier. So it acts as a barrier and it prevents or it avoids mixing of the maternal blood, that is the mother's blood, along with the fetal blood. So it also prevents the entry of harmful bacteria from the mother's blood to the fetal blood. And second important function is transport. So placenta, it helps in transportation of oxygen, carbon dioxide, water, then ions, minerals, sodium, potassium, magnesium. So all these are transported from the mother's blood to the fetus with the help of placenta. Third important function, immunity. So resistance power. So the antibodies which are naturally present in the mother's blood, so they are transferred from the maternal blood to the fetus with the help of placenta. So third important function is immunity. Fourth important function of placenta is drugs. So many drugs consumed by the mother, they easily pass through the placenta. So next important function of placenta is endocrine gland. So I think you remember, endocrine glands are the glands involved in production of hormones. So placenta is not only a connecting tissue, but it is also an endocrine gland. So it is dual in function. So let us know which are the hormones produced by placenta. First important hormone is HCG, that is human core ionic gonadotropin. Second important hormone is HPL, human placental lactogen. Third important hormone is relaxin, and last two hormones are estrogen and progesterone. So finally we can say that placenta is an endocrine gland which is involved in production of hormones. So finally, there are five important functions of placenta. First, it acts as a barrier. Second, it helps in transportation of gases, minerals from the maternal blood to the fetal blood. Third, it provides immunity to the developing fetus. Fourth, most of the drugs consumed by the mother are readily passed through the placenta. And fifth, placenta acts as an endocrine gland. So all these are the important functions of placenta. So finally, let us know what are the functions of these hormones produced by placenta. So first important hormone is HCG, human chorionic gonadotropin. So this hormone, it helps in formation or stimulation of corpus luteum at the time of pregnancy. And second important hormone is HPL, that is human placental lactogen. So this hormone, it is involved in secretion of milk or production of milk from the mammary glands immediately after childbirth. Third hormone is relaxin. So the name itself indicates that this hormone helps in relaxation of the pelvic ligaments or pelvic muscles in the pelvic region during childbirth. And fourth important hormones are estrogen and progesterone. So estrogen, it is the hormone which helps in maintaining the secondary sexual characters in females. Progesterone is a hormone which helps in maintaining the pregnancy period or gestation period in human females. And last but not the least, most important hormone produced by placenta is CRH, corticotropic releasing hormone. So if at all this hormone is produced in more concentration, it leads to premature delivery. So finally, in some of the pregnant women, the delivery period takes place before the due date, and this is due to excess production of this hormone, which is called as CRH, that is corticotropic releasing hormone. So finally, all these are the important functions of placenta. So next, let us know about embryonic development. So what is embryonic development? So embryonic development is the development period of the embryo. So during the pregnancy period, that is for 9 months or 270 days, the embryo undergoes the process of development, and that is called as the embryonic period. Okay, so finally, how can we define embryo? So what is embryo? So an embryo is the unborn young one. So embryo is an organism in the early stage of development. Okay, so in the early stage of development, the developing baby, it is called as an embryo. Okay, so finally, in human beings, the organism, the developing organism is called as the embryo. So let us know about embryonic development. So finally, during the process of embryonic development, so first important step in embryonic development includes the development of blastocyst, that is formation of blastocyst. So immediately after fertilization, the process of cleavage starts, and during the process of cleavage, there is formation of morula, which is a solid ball of 16 cell structure. So this morula, it later on gets converted into a 64 celled structure, which we call it as blastocyst, or it is also called as blastula. And finally, this blastocyst or blastula, which consists of 64 cells, So this blastula is an important stage. So it is the second stage of embryonic development in humans, and as a result, the blastula, it contains a cavity which is called as the blastocele cavity, and it has an outer layer of cells called as trophoblast, and it also has an inner mass of cell which we call it as embryoblast. And finally, the region where the embryoblast cells are attached to the trophoblast is called as cells of Rauber. So finally here, the embryoblast, it divides into two layers, that is epiblast and hypoblast together, which is called as embryonic disc. So here, during the process of embryonic development, the first stage is morula. So please remember, morula is the first stage of embryonic development in human beings, where there is formation of a 16-celled structure, and second stage of embryonic development is called as blastula, which consists of 64 cells. And last, the third stage of embryonic development, it is called as gastrula. So finally, gastrula, it is the third stage of embryonic development. So finally, the blastula, it gets converted into gastrula. So what is gastrula? So gastrula is the third stage of embryonic development in human beings. So here, the developing embryo, it attains a definite shape. So a definite shape is given to the embryo, and that stage is called as gastrula, where there is formation of three germ layers. So finally, the three germ layers are ectoderm, endoderm and mesoderm. So here, the blastula gets transformed into a structure called as gastrula, where there is formation of three germ layers. So this is an important stage in embryonic development, which is called as gastrulation. So finally, three germ layers are formed during the process of embryonic development. So let us know what are stem cells. So stem cells are the immature cells present in each and every part of our body, and these cells, they have the ability to give rise to any type of tissue or any kind of cells in the body. For example, stem cells which are present in the epidermis of the skin, so they have the ability to give rise to skin cells. So suppose if a part of a skin is damaged, after some days new skin cells develop in that region, and this is due to the presence of stem cells. And another one example, stem cells which are present in the brain, so they give rise to brain cells. So stem cells which are present in the liver, so they give rise to liver cells. So finally, we can say that stem cells are the cells which have the ability to give rise to any kind of cells in the body. So this nature is called as pluripotency. So here, during the process of embryonic development, stem cells are the most important cells present in the developing embryo, and they have the ability to give rise to different kinds of tissues and organs in the body. So let us know about the process of embryonic development. So as I have told you, the embryonic development is the development of the embryo inside the uterus, which takes place for 9 months. That is, the gestation period is for 9 months or 270 days, and during the process of this embryonic development, that is in the first month, we can see that there is formation or development of heart as well as brain. So there is development of a well-defined heart which is needed for pumping the blood in the developing embryo, and also nerve supply to the brain. So there is formation of heart as well as the brain in the first month, and in the second month the embryo, it takes a shape of a recognizable shape, and now we can call it as the fetus. So the embryo, it attains the shape of the human being, and now we can call it as the fetus. And apart from that, there is development of limbs, that is legs as well as digits, toes and fingers. So development of limbs and digits takes place in the second month. In the third month, organs are formed. The most important organs in the body of the embryo or the fetus, they are formed in the third month. And finally, in the fifth month, there is movement of the fetus. So fetal movement can be seen for the first time in fifth month of pregnancy, and apart from that, there is formation of hair all over the body, eyelashes, etc. So here this is about the embryonic development of the developing embryo. So finally, after 9 months, the well developed or the fully developed fetus is ready to come out of the mother's body, and this is called as parturition, or it is called as childbirth. So finally, let us know what is parturition. So parturition is the process of expelling the fully developed fetus from the mother's body. So here, after completion of 9 months, the fully developed fetus or the child is delivered. It comes out of the mother's body from the uterus through the vagina, and this is called as parturition. So the process of expelling the fully developed young one from the mother's body is called as parturition, or we commonly called it as childbirth. So let us know what is the process of parturition. So how does parturition takes place in human females? Okay, so here first important step. So after the development of the fetus gets completed, after 9 months, a signal comes from a fully developed fetus, and this signal is called as fetal ejection reflex. So finally, after 9 months, the fully developed fetus or the fully developed baby, it gives a signal to the placenta, and this signal is called as fetal ejection reflex. So it is later on followed by labor pain. So severe labor pain will start, which will last for 6 to 12 hours, and along with that there is production of a hormone called as oxytocin. So I think you remember that in the posterior lobe of pituitary gland there is oxytocin hormone, and this oxytocin hormone, it is stimulated, and finally it will help in childbirth. So finally there is stimulation of this hormone which is called as birth hormone, that is oxytocin, and it helps in contraction of the uterus. So severe pain takes place in the uterine wall, and this is due to stimulation or production of the hormone which we call it as oxytocin. So apart from that, another one hormone is stimulated, and it is called as relaxin. So relaxin, it helps in relaxation of the pelvic ligaments during childbirth. So fetal ejection reflex. So what is fetal ejection reflex? So the signal from the childbirth, it originates from a fully matured fetus and the placenta. So this signal is called as fetal ejection reflex. Okay, so this part is very, very important. So the signal, it comes from a fully developed fetus as well as the placenta, and now the fetus is ready to come out of the mother's body, and this is called as fetal ejection reflex. So it is followed by labor pain, then there is a release of a hormone called as oxytocin from the pituitary gland. As a result, this oxytocin, it causes contraction in the uterine wall of the mother, which is followed by severe pain, and along with that another hormone is also released which is called as relaxin, and it helps in relaxation of the pelvic ligaments. So during labor pain, there are different stages in labor pain. So let us know which are they. Okay, so there are three important stages in labor pain. First is called as the stage of dilation. So when the labor pain begins, so as I have told you, this labor pain, it will last for 6 to 12 hours. So during this period of labor pain, there is severe contraction in the uterine wall. Severe contraction takes place in the uterus. Apart from that, there is rupturing of the amniotic fluid, which we call it as flow of water. So the amniotic fluid, it will rupture, it will break off, and lot of water comes out of the mother's body, and this is called as stage of dilation. Second important stage is a stage of expulsion. So finally this stage, it lasts for 10 to 12 minutes. So within this period, the baby, it comes out of the mother's body, and finally the baby is said to be delivered or born. If at all it is natural, then the baby, it comes out of the vagina. So this stage, it is called as stage of expulsion. Last stage is called as placental stage. So after the delivery of the baby, the placenta also comes out, or it is also expelled from the mother's body, and this is called as placental stage. So please remember, there are three important stages in labor pain. First stage is the stage of dilation. Second is stage of expulsion. Third is the placental stage. So these are the three important stages in labor pain. So as I have told you here, so these are the stages in labor pain. There is fixation of the head. So head, it gets fixed, fixation of the head, and after that there is dilation. So severe contraction takes place in the uterine wall. So in the third diagram, you can see that the baby is pushed from the uterine wall, that is the stage of dilation, and finally it comes out of the mother's body, stage of expulsion. So the baby, it is expelled out, it is thrown out. So literally it is not thrown out, but it means pushed from the uterus through the vagina, and this is called as the stage of expulsion. So last, let us know what is lactation. So the process of production of milk in the mammary glands of the breast. So this is called as lactation. So when does this process begin? So immediately after childbirth, there is a stimulation of a hormone called as prolactin. So I think you remember prolactin is a hormone produced by the anterior lobe of pituitary gland. So this hormone, it is stimulated, it is activated, and finally from the pituitary gland it enters the bloodstream, and from the blood it enters the breast, and it stimulates the mammary glands in the breast to produce milk. So prolactin or PRL or lactogenic hormone is the most important hormone which helps in production of milk immediately after childbirth. So finally here the mammary glands, they produce milk after the end of pregnancy, that is after childbirth. Immediately there is production of milk in the mammary glands of the mother, and this process is called as lactation. So now let us know about colostrum. So what is this colostrum? The first milk which comes out from the mammary glands of the mother immediately after childbirth. So this is called as colostrum. So this colostrum, it is a yellowish fluid which contains lot of antibodies. So it is rich in antibodies, and as a result this milk, it is recommended by doctors to be fed by the mothers for first 2 to 3 days, because it gives resistance power, or it provides immunity to the developing baby, because this milk, that is colostrum, it is rich in antibodies and it provides immunity, or it gives resistance to the developing baby against the attack of diseases. So immunity is nothing but resistance power. So ability of our body to protect ourselves from diseases. So this is called as immunity. So this colostrum, it is immediately produced after childbirth for first 2 to 3 days, and it is recommended by doctors to breastfeed because it is rich in antibodies. So here in the diagram you can see that first there is, so when the developing baby sucks the milk from the nipple of the mother in the breast, immediately the mammary glands, they get activated or they get stimulated, and as a result there is production of milk from the mammary glands. So here in the diagram you can see that there is a projection at the tip of the breast which is called as nipple, and it is surrounded by a deep pigmented dark brown or black color region around the nipple. It is called as areola, and this areola, it contains some protuberance which is called as areolar glands. So finally in the region of nipple we can see the presence of mammary glands which are involved in production of milk. So let us move on to the summary. So in our today's session we have studied about pregnancy. So as I have told you, pregnancy is the period of development of the fetus right after fertilization up till birth. So right from fertilization up till birth, this period is called as the pregnancy period. So in human beings it is for 9 months, that is more or less 270 days. So this pregnancy period is also called as gestation period. So second, we have studied about placenta. So as I have told you, placenta is a tissue which connects the mother and the fetus. So the fetus, it undergoes the process of development inside the womb of the mother. So it requires nutrients, it requires different materials which is supplied by the mother with the help of placenta. So in other words, we can say that placenta is a connection in between the mother and the fetus. So as I have told you, there are 5 important functions of placenta. First one, it acts as a barrier. Second, it helps in transport. Third, it provides immunity. Fourth, it helps in transporting the drugs. Fifth, it acts as an endocrine gland. So all these are the important functions of placenta. And we have also studied about embryonic development. So the development of the embryo inside the uterus of the mother, which is for 9 months. So that period we call it as embryonic development. And during the embryonic development, especially in the first month, there is formation of a well-defined four-chambered heart. Along with that, there is development of the brain for nerve supply. In the second month, there is formation of limbs and digits, that is toes and fingers, and the embryo, it takes a recognizable shape of human beings, so it looks like a human. And in the third month, finally there is development of the vital organs in the body of the embryo. And in the fifth month, movement, so fetal movement can be noticed by the mother, especially in the fifth month. And along with that, there is development of hair all over the body, eyelashes, etc. So after completion of 9 months, finally the fetus is delivered. So we have also studied about mechanism of parturition. So what is parturition? So the process of expelling the fetus from the mother's body is called as parturition, or it is commonly called as childbirth. So parturition takes place with the help of a signal that comes from a fully developed fetus, and this signal is called as fetal ejection reflex, and it is followed by production of a hormone called as oxytocin, which helps in contraction of the uterus. And along with that, there is production of another hormone by the placenta as well as the ovary, which is called as relaxin. So it helps in relaxation of the pelvic ligaments, which enables easy childbirth. So as I have told you, the entire process of parturition gets completed in 3 stages. That is, there are 3 stages of labor pain. First is stage of dilation, second is stage of expulsion, third is stage of placenta, that is placental stage. During the process of parturition or during childbirth, there is fixation of the head, rotation of the head. Along with that, there are severe labor pains which remains for 6 to 12 hours. And apart from that, there is rupturing of the amniotic fluid. So the amniotic cavity which contains amniotic fluid, it will rupture, it will break off. So there is loss of excess of water from the mother's body, so flow of water from the mother's body. So all these are the signals for childbirth. So we have studied about that. And last but not the least, mechanism of lactation. So as I have told you, lactation is the process of production of milk from the mammary glands of the mother. So this is stimulated. So production of milk from the breast takes place with the help of a hormone called as prolactin, and finally prolactin, which is produced in the anterior lobe of pituitary gland. It will stimulate production of milk in the mammary glands. So this is about lactation. So finally we have completed the entire chapter of human reproduction. Thank you one and all.